Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is again about Business Central because that's what I cover here. But today's video is a bit different than my normal videos. Since the beginning of the year I was involved in a personal project writing my first book. And of course that book is about Business Central. This book covers data in Business Central, and more specifically how to analyze data from Business Central. But what do I mean by data? My focus on this book was on some specific type of data, and that is ledger entries. Is going over the main ledger entries in the system, like customer ledger entries, vendor ledger entries, item ledger entries, and I dive into each one and cover not only information about them, about the ledger entries, the specific ledger entries, but the focus of this book is ledger entries and data analysis. So we look at we go over a few exercises on data analysis on ledger entries. And I think I should show you the book. This is the book. It's called Beyond the Ledgers, Cutting Edge Data Insights with Business Central and AI. With each exercise that I went through, I tried to cover data analysis from three aspects. One is ad hoc analysis in Business Central. Second is Excel data analyze, and third is ChatGPT data analysis plugins. ChatGPT has a few data analysis plugins, and I go over at least two in this book. So the book is basically going over different aspects of the ledger entries by using, we arrive at to analyze data using the ad hoc analysis, which is a native tool in Business Central. Then we go over Excel and we see that we get the same type of results using Excel data analyze. And we go also over ChatGPT, different plugins, and with ChatGPT we arrive at the same results. And I'll show you, let me move back to the book. I'll show you a few examples. So for example, we have a section on introduction. I talk about these three factors that have influenced the book, and they are the meat of the book. Which is the ad hoc analysis, then the Excel analyze data, and the ChatGPT plugins for data analysis. Then the first chapter is on customer ledger entries, and this chapter is explaining how is the system creating customer ledger entries, what sort of operations or processes we need to run through to create customer ledger entries. And of course I cover order to cash process here. And then I go over a few examples of how we can analyze the customer ledger entries. Then the second chapter is about vendor ledger entries. And in this chapter I cover the vendor ledger entries because, as I said, the focus is on the ledger entries. Focus of the book is on vendor ledger entries, but I also cover how the system creates the vendor ledger entries. And the chapter goes over the procure to pay process, and how we create vendor ledger entries, starting with creating an invoice, and then or a purchase order, and we post the invoice and we get a vendor ledger entry, and then ultimately we pay the invoice through a few methods, and I cover all three methods of paying an invoice. How finding out what we owe vendors for each time interval, or how much we received from invoices or early payments. So discounts is another piece. Let's go to page 47. From general ledger entries to vendor ledger entries and detailed vendor ledger entries. And how we can create payments. And then we move into analytics. What you owe vendors by time interval provided by the due date. And of course the analysis of, so this exercise is run through three methods using the analyze mode or the ad hoc analysis in Business Central. Then we use the Excel analyze data, and we can see I go side by side with Excel analyze data and with ChatGPT, one of the plugins. And then the next exercise on the vendor ledger entries is how much discount we receive from invoices and early payments. And I go over how we can actually set up the discounts. And we're testing the setup. And then there is the discounts analysis part. And again, I go not only over the analysis of the discounts from using the native tools in Business Central, like Analyze mode, but I also go over the Excel, how you can find out the insights of these vendor ledger entries using Excel and the ChatGPT. There was also an exercise on goods received but not invoiced across vendors. So this is kind of the content of this book. It's not only ledger entries. I cover vendor ledger entries, customer ledger entries, item ledger entries, but I also cover the fact that ad hoc analysis works on queries as well, and we go over Copilot and what Copilot brought recently in Business Central. And of course, one of the Copilot features is that you can create ad hoc analysis on whatever list page you prefer using Copilot. And because Copilot, the data analysis mode or ad hoc analysis, especially when you're analyzing big sets of data, the analysis mode freezes and you might not want the access to the ad hoc analysis always to any page. And I show you here with code, with writing Yale code, how to prevent that. Or not only the Yale code, but maybe you want to prevent access to ad hoc analysis wider. For example, you might have a security group that you want all the users in that security group to not be able to turn on an analysis mode or ad hoc analysis. So yeah, this is the book, and I believe I'm really happy with the content and the fact that I covered material not only for a functional consultant, but also for a developer. And probably the most gain is by reading this book is for a user of Business Central, be that somebody in accounts payable, or a manager in accounts payable, or maybe a CFO looking to find out more about the cash flow that's coming in every month. So yeah, this was the video. It's a bit longer than I expected to be, but I hope the book you'll find the book useful. Regardless of what you prefer, the paperback or the PDF, there is a place for each method of delivery. For PDF there is LeanPub. I'll have the link to the book where you can purchase the PDF for $10, or you can purchase the real thing, 140 pages of hardcover book from Amazon. Hope this book really helps you. Thank you. Talk to you soon.